Good evening. This is Professor Rush back again with Oo. I was concerned that he was not able to get away from that explosion or whatever it was, but he made it. So once again, here is Oo.
Hello, hello. Are you there, John? Hello.
Yes, I'm here, Oo. It seems as if you've changed color or something.
Yes, or something. Are you into species profiling here, John? Anyway, we, at least my species, but not all species on board, were genetically reprogrammed to deal with intense radiation. You folks will have to deal with that as well. You're either going to have to get rid of the hair you have, or use it in some sort of coat or a shield or something. There are those who went the coat route. Yes. And as a group, not all of course, they're rather nasty, smell bad, not handsome like me, and of course you. Anyway,
Well, how does that work out, growing lots of hair as a barrier against radiation?
hmm, how does it work out? Okay, there are certainly advantages in that they always have an instant shield, but as you can imagine, it's difficult to avoid, shall we say, company. They attract all kinds of parasites. Their hair is always getting caught in the machinery, and, as I said, they tend to smell bad. It's the oil that lubricates the hairs, so they're less likely to entangle in themselves. It is slipperier than, say, for example, oh yes, Teflon. But I might say in their favor, the women in this one specific group use their hair in a very special way. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to talk about such things. And oh, yes, you Earth people seem to lose a great deal of muscle mass and bone mass even after short periods in space. If you want to explore the universe, you will have to modify your genetic code or become your machines. And you're well on your way to that. Anyway, I am normally what you would call light blue color, but when hit with intense radiation, we turn a red brown, protective pigment for us. Others on board have other mechanisms like clothing or a type of what you would call tattooing or putting some sort of barrier under the upper layer of skin. And this can serve not only as a radiation shield, but can also convert the radiation into any form of energy you like, for defensive purposes, for powering weapons, being able to see in the dark when you want to take a leak, and so on, so forth.
So what happened? What was that object?
Okay, I don't know. Perhaps some sort of undocumented natural phenomenon. The shockwave from the blast has blown us way off course, and now we're obliged to investigate whatever this is, so we're behind schedule. Our first thought was a supernova, but there was not nearly enough mass for that. Perhaps some sort of weapon. We're still trying to determine what the organic matter was all about. By the way, John, can I ask you another question?
Is this another one of those political jokes of yours, Oo?
Yeah,
Okay, in that case, go ahead.
good. Now, this one I understand. How is a $5 Rolex watch like Vice President Joe Biden?
Well, I can't say that I know, Oo. Why is a $5 Rolex watch like Vice President Joe Biden? It certainly has dropped in value, and Biden has been making more of a fool of himself, if that's possible, in his last two re-election speeches. In fact, in my opinion, Joe Biden needs to seek psychiatric help.
Yes, all right, here it is. How is a $5 Rolex watch like Vice President Joe Biden? Well, the face has been removed, so it's difficult to know what time it is or if it's keeping time or not. The batteries keep leaking, and some of the springs and gears are missing. Ha 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 ha. I like that one. I like these comparison jokes. It is interesting, John, that every time I hear the word Rolex, these very descriptive images come to mind of your rather comical rulers. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, the debris field, well, it has morphed into something else. A ball about a mile across. So we have several possibilities here. It is a weapon of some sort, a warning. Perhaps it was something emerging from a wormhole and the explosion might have been caused by antimatter used to keep the wormhole open. This does not account for the debris field unless this is a portal and the gravitational pull invites space junk. But space junk out here?
So, how can you study such an object?
Yes. How will we know what it is? We will simply probe it. Excuse me, John.
We have located the databanks. Where would you like to view these?
Load the data into my console so I can continue to talk with John. By the way, John, you notice that Ja-DooT has changed in appearance. And where is our navigator? I just spit into thin air. Anyway, he also has been genetically engineered to withstand immense radiation. But in the process, he molts and becomes another stage in their life cycle. Sort of like caterpillars becoming butterflies. His mental powers remain and accumulate. Lifespan for his species is about 250 of your Earth years, but that also depends on how quickly he goes through the molt stages. It's like having 9 lives. Sometimes they get used up rapidly. For Ja-DooT, for example, you're back, my dear. For Ja-DooT, I don't want that one to feel left out, my dear. He shortened his lifespan by about 30 or 40 Earth years. One does not always get the opportunity to observe the molting process firsthand. This morning there was a red pod sticking out of the top of his head, and now he looks like a dandelion. Now let's see what he morphs to next. I hope you're writing this down, John. This is a rare occasion where you get to watch Ja-DooT, sorry dear, morph into into what in the copulate is that?
Excuse my laughter, but it looks like George Clooney.
Well, John, you have to take the good with the bad. Anyway, while we are devising a plan, actually my crew is discussing all the possibilities and are taking bets on what I will actually do. So while,
Hold on, Oo. They take bets on how you will respond to things like this?
yes, you see, this is an easy choice. Just scan whatever this is and plot a course around it. Or I could go ahead and see what happens, try and make contact. Then, of course, I could blow them out of the water, to use one of your naval metaphors. Not many will take a bet on the last one because that's not my style. Besides, I don't know what kind of technology they have, and so that could be disastrous. I'd like to get the crew home safe. Well, most of the crew. Perhaps we could sacrifice Ja-DooT. Sorry. Especially now he has molted into who knows whatever that is.
Now, don't you think spitting on your navigator...
You mean Maudie. I call her Maudie. It's a very affectionate name.
Okay, but don't you think spitting on Maudie is somewhat gross?
Gross. Let me see. Grouse. No, that's a bird. Gross. The number 144. Example given, a gross of Trojans. Oh, here it is. Gross. Okay. Disgusting. Not appropriate. Okay. No, it isn't gross. Do you kiss your spouse?
Yes, I do.
And so you probably get a little saliva on her once in a while. Is that correct, John?
Yes, sometimes, I suppose.
Well, then, think of it as a day's worth of kisses all at once.
Well, dear me, Oo, she's wearing several days' worth right now.
Yes, I know. It's been a long day, John.
So, what do you think you're going to do?
Yes, I have to make a decision, don't I? Well, here is my plan. After we have checked the databanks, we can determine its intent. We will send a message to this whatever it is and wait for a signal back of some kind. In the meantime, I am going to take a nice shower and, of course, wash the spit off of Maudie. That's the least I can do. Hold down the fort, Ja-DooT. Or should I call you George?